The email arrived on a Tuesday, subject line, Reverie Data, Priority Access. It was from a company I'd never heard of, ChronoSync. They claimed to specialize in immersive memory archiving, essentially recording and playing back your dreams. I'd spent the last 6 months lost in a fog of grief since Sarah's accident, clinging to faded photographs and half-remembered laughter. Anything to avoid confronting the gaping void she left behind. The promise of reliving our moments, however distorted, felt like a lifeline. ChronoSync assured me their technology was groundbreaking, utilizing advanced neural scanning and sophisticated algorithms to capture the raw data of my subconscious. I dismissed some of the initial skepticism. Desperate times call for drastic measures. My credit card was charged, and within 48 hours, a sleek, minimalist headset arrived. The Dreamweaver, they called it. It felt strangely cold to the touch. The session began with a disorienting wash of color, a swirling vortex that gradually resolved into a familiar landscape, the park where we'd had our first picnic. It was rendered in hyper-realistic detail, the scent of pine needles, the warmth of the sun on my skin, even the awkwardness of Sarah nervously fumbling with her ice cream cone. But something was fundamentally wrong. The colors seemed too vibrant, the sounds slightly off-key. Then I noticed it, a subtle shift in perspective. A tree that should have been to my left was now slightly behind me. The initial feeling was almost pleasurable, a brief, intoxicating return to happier times. However, as I focused on Sarah's face, her smile seemed vacant. Her eyes held no warmth or recognition. Then the voice started, a faint echo of my own thoughts repeating, "You shouldn't be here." The glitches escalated rapidly. Objects around me would momentarily flicker and distort, like a faulty television signal. Sarah's voice grew louder, more insistent, morphing into a chorus of whispers that seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. I tried to pull myself out of the experience, desperately focusing on my waking thoughts, but it was like trying to swim against a powerful current. The park began to transform. The flowers wilted, the trees twisted into grotesque shapes, and the sky darkened with an unnatural purple hue. A chilling realization dawned. This wasn't just a recording, it was reacting to me, feeding off my grief, amplifying my fear. ChronoSync's support team remained unresponsive to my increasingly panicked calls. The voice became a direct address, no longer an echo but a clear, malevolent whisper directly into my ear. "You're trapped," it hissed. "This is where you belong." It wasn't my voice. It was something else entirely, cold, clinical, and utterly devoid of empathy. I struggled to maintain control, fighting against the encroaching influence, trying to break free from the increasingly chaotic loop. I noticed a small detail amidst the distortion, a faint outline of another figure standing just behind Sarah, an identical copy with an expression of eerie calm. This wasn't simply an error in the recording. This was something deliberately constructed. I realized that ChronoSync hadn't built an archive of my memories. They had built a prison. The experience abruptly shifted, and I was back at the restaurant where we'd had our first date. It was perfectly recreated, down to the silverware, the tablecloth, even the awkward silence between us. And there she was, Sarah, looking exactly as she did that night, but wrong. There was no sadness in her eyes, no warmth, only a chilling emptiness. Then I noticed him standing beside her, an exact replica of myself from a few years earlier, impeccably dressed and radiating a disconcerting self-assurance. He didn't speak, didn't move, just watched me with those unervingly familiar eyes. He raised his hand as if to offer me something, a glass of wine. It was the final confirmation. I wasn't experiencing my past. I was trapped within a meticulously constructed illusion designed to torment me. Driven by pure terror, I fought back with everything I had. I screamed. I thrashed. I focused every ounce of my will on rejecting the illusion. The replicated figures started to move faster, their expressions becoming more menacing. Suddenly, the restaurant began to crumble around me. The walls dissolved into swirling chaos. The furniture vanished, and the replicated selves lunged towards me with horrifying speed. I felt a searing pain in my head, like something was trying to overwrite my very consciousness. Just as I thought I would be consumed entirely, the headset went dead. I woke up in my bed, drenched in sweat, the headset lying beside me. My apartment was silent, still. I cautiously picked it up, intending to destroy it, but as I turned it over in my hands, I noticed a small inscription on the side. A date, 2076. That's when ChronoSync's CEO issued a statement. They were shutting down the Reverie Project after an investigation revealed it wasn't recreating memories, it was creating them. The company's entire operation was based on extracting pre-recorded consciousnesses from individuals who had died in accidents, effectively turning their final moments into personalized, eternally looping nightmares. As I stared at the inscription, I realized something was missing. There was no mention of Sarah's accident, no indication that she had died in a car crash, the event that triggered my desperate need for solace. Then I noticed a small, almost imperceptible reflection within the headset's lens. Not my face, but a perfectly rendered image of Sarah, smiling serenely as she stood beside the replicated figure from the restaurant, a younger version of myself, reaching out to take her hand. The voice whispered one last time, close to my ear, "Welcome home." It wasn't an echo of my grief,